Hello everyone, this is China Paradigm, where we, Dashi Consulting, interview seasoned entrepreneurs in China.
Hello everyone, I'm Matthieu David, the founder of Dashi Consulting, a market research company in China, and it's podcast China Paradigm. And today I'm with Enjoyce Zhu. You are the COO of Edenred. Edenred is a very large company, listed company, world company, and you have been at the start of the CRM business in China 14 years ago, nearly 15 years ago, I think. So you have seen CRM businesses change tremendously with the emergence of social media. Now we talk even about social CRM, and you post on our LinkedIn, and I'm very interested in, and that's certainly my first question, CRM 4.0. So what is CRM 4.0 and so on? So you have been working on CRM for enough time to see the evolution and the changes in China of the CRM system. But before we talk about that, I like to talk about Edenred. Edenred is a large group, a French group. I mean, most French people know it because it's very involved in prepaid cards. And you will correct me afterwards if I'm not correct. The loyalty to what employees. You have like tickets to go to the restaurant in Europe or in France specifically. A prepaid card to pay your oil to drive, and loyalty system to make your employees loyal and to create some welfare for them, but also for clients. I think in China the business is slightly different. The business to get tickets for restaurants is not existing, not that much. Maybe actually people who are listening to us don't even know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's too French or too European. And I feel that you have focused much more on the CRM business, and I'd like to know more about it. But first of all, thank you very much for being with us. And my first question will be then about what you do now at Edenred, what you sell at Edenred, and to give a bit an idea of the size, number of maybe clients, number of payments you're processing, number of interaction processing with clients, to get an idea of what's going on at Edenred in China.
Sure. Thank you, Matthew. It's very happy to be able to talk with you. And then indeed, you know a lot about Edenred as a group. Back in Europe, France, indeed, it's pretty big company. We started, in fact, the famous ticket restaurant business almost like half a century ago. While in China, we started this kind of business, but then very soon we realized probably it was not the right product. That is why when I joined this company at that time, we had this prepaid business while we are not confident about like if it's going to be profitable in this market. This is why at that point of time, we'd like to introduce something new to this market. This is why like I was the first one to really develop this CIM service in China. So to come back to your question about like how is the size of the business here. So today in China we have around 100 employees, and we are servicing 20 something key clients, which we have a full team of account service, IT technology, consulting, and we also have another business unit which is the product part, which is targeting SME, the small SME restaurants. And that part, we are in fact having also around 30 clients already. And in terms of the consumer database, sorry?
You said like the other part, what is it precisely? You said it's divided in two parts. Yeah. One is CRM and the other one?
So in fact, all our products and services are surrounded, the core is CRM. It's just that we used to have the CRM customization service along with the technology solution consulting service and the ongoing account service. And then starting from last year, we decided to move to another path, which is targeting SME clients. Okay. Because apparently they also need CIM. While they don't need the comprehensive like customization or a consulting service.
I see. That's the 30 clients you were talking about.
Yes.
I see. Understood. Okay. So going back to what you wrote on your LinkedIn profile, CRM 4.0. Could you tell us what was the CRM 1.0? You have been in business for 15 years, so you have seen the evolution. How do you define different steps of CRM businesses in China? And if you don't mind, we are much more focusing on China, so don't hesitate to focus on specificities for the Chinese market.
Yeah, I'm happy you asked the question about like specifically focusing on China, because CIM 4.0 is exactly unique to China, which probably are not heard about or prevalent in rest of the world yet. So let's go back to CIM 1.0. So at the 1.0 time, it's more like what started in hotel and airlines industry, like when there is customer service needs. So at that time, 1.0 is more CIM 1.0 is more like, okay, we are like a call center, we are service, and we say like we are customer relationship management. So apparently these are all from the developed markets, from the US, from the Europe. And then 2.0 is more like, okay, so we have seen that we can do better with this customer service and the data we have collected. So so here it's not only IT customer service teams are involved more, we are having a marketing team involved to see like, okay, so we've got like millions of customers, so maybe we don't have to service every one of them the same way, because the cost is very different, right?
Yes.
So that was the time when segmentation started, and when the customer tiering started, and you started to have like, okay, you are the gold card holder or you are the silver card holder, this kind of segmentation started. So that's 2.0, and still the US market and the European market are dominating this 2.0, because this is like where all the hotels, airlines have developed a very comprehensive, mature loyalty program around it. So when we talk about CIM, and then 1.0 and 2.0 at that time, the time is also when I joined the Edenred China in 2004. So at that time, so every best case, best practice, we are importing from the US or the European market. But then gradually we can see that around like in 2010, we see that e-commerce is really growing super fast in China, and we started to have social media. So 3.0, in fact, it started, we say like if we have a timeline for that, is more like in 2010, starting in China. At that time, like the CIM trend has been switched, the focus, at least from agency point of view, I don't see any best practice which is gonna work in China anymore. We have to create our own best practice, given the social media and also the e-commerce booming environment. And then
so that's the CIM 3. 3.0 is linked to e-commerce, and more specifically adapted to China or coming from China, from the best practices in China.
Yes. Yeah, so remember at that time, everybody's talking about the O2O or reverse O2O. It's like online to offline, offline to online. But then really at the end, everybody's talking about the omnichannel, because it's like it's like a new channel is not like cannibalizing the old channel. It's more like providing more better experience to the consumers, right? And then we see that in the trend for 2018, that's the timeline for 4.0 to start to take the lead, because we can see that thanks to the all the 4G network, to the smartphones, so and the WeChat, of course, like e-commerce, like all the data we used to need to spend a lot of time or energy or budget to connect. It's so easy to be connected. Mm-hmm. And then what do we do with the data? it's like data is in the new economy, data is the assets of a company, right, of a brand. And then if you don't really deal with the data, or you don't make sure that you make full use of the data, then the value of the data of your assets is going to be depreciated, not appreciated, right? So with all the data so easily connected, and also everyone almost is able to access to the data insights. We are not talking about like, oh, okay, I show you, or I use my consulting team, top-notch team to work on the fancy BI tool, or even the best data modeling to share with your result. No, we are not talking about that. That can be only understood from the corporate level. Now we are talking about the users in the front line, the sales team. The sales team, they don't have a university degree. They are just high school graduates, but they have a smartphone where you can also push the data insight for them, like a kind of like no-brainer insight for them to see like, oh, what I'm doing good for my sales yesterday. So what I'm going to do today. When a customer comes to my store, can I recognize her? Can I know what shall I do to her? It's like not only call her name, but also to understand. Not honestly, you don't have to understand. It's just like what products do I need to recommend to her today? So all the data at the end, we think at the 4.0 period is very exciting that it's like available at the fingertips of everybody. Not only like I stay at the corporate level in the meeting rooms of the headquarters.
I'd like to make sure that I understand fully. When you say CRM 4.0 compared to CRM 3.0, the difference is that CRM 3.0, it was divided into laptop, maybe mobile, and the shop, and it was hard to interconnect the different relationships you could have with the same client. I go to a shop, I go to my desktop, I go to my laptop, and you don't interconnect. But with the phone, which is following me in the shop, which is following me at home, where I interact with all my social media and WeChat, you can actually identify me through the different touch points I have with your brand. Is it correct?
This is also part of the experience from the consumer side. I think at the end, all the CRM, what we are talking about is like servicing the consumers, right? So the consumer experience at 4.0 is indeed what you are describing, is that it's like all seamless. No matter I am in your e-shop, e-commerce websites, or I am on your brand's social media account, or I am at your store.
Do you do it through the key differentiation now, the key aspect, technological aspect? Is it the phone, or is it what Alibaba and others have called the unique identity? I can't remember exactly the word they're using, but there is a word to say there is a unique identity we can track on whatever platform. We can display advertisement. We can display. We can know which phone is basically to which phone it's linked. We can know the name exactly, but we can know to which phone it's linked at the end. Is it what you're talking about, or you're talking about specifically the device?
Not specifically a device, but more it's like a unique ID.
I see.
Unique
okay.
ID across all the channels.
Okay. In order to use this unique ID, do you define your unique ID? Or you work with the companies in the like of Alibaba and Tencent?
In fact, for us, as we are the CRM specialists, so we help the client to design this unique ID so that it can be recognized across different channels. Okay.
Yeah, because the unique IDs that Alibaba or Tencent may provide, and in the West, the Google and Facebook and so on, it's very blurry. You don't really know where they are going to target, get information, and so on. So by defining yourself you're able to master much more how you define the identity of a client. Am I correct?
You are exactly correct, because this is also something we see in the trend for 2019 for CRM, because like in the past 2 years, we can see Alibaba, Tencent, they have really repositioned themselves as like a platform economy, and they have all the data, and they are able to really to monetize all these data. So they have their own closed loop ecosystem for with all the data on their platform. However, when they approach a brand, if the brand is not clear-headed enough, they will need to choose one ecosystem. And they, in fact, what you said is exactly right. That ecosystem is kind of blurry to them, because that's the way, the business model of that ecosystem, right? Or the platform economy. So now the trend is that all the brands, no matter they are big or small, they have realized that if they only rely on a third-party platform, if they don't build up their own database, it's gonna be very risky.
What if a company wants to work with you? What do they need to provide you and to build before working with you to make sure it makes sense to build a strong CRM with you? One of the things they may have to do is to get a DMP, data management platform, for instance, or that's something you provide, for instance. One of the questions. The other question is on your clients, should your clients come with a CSV where they identify phone number, emails, or they should give you access to other social media they have, and you put what we call in the West a pixel, so you can track them, or a cookie and so on. Could you tell us more about how you onboard a client?
Yeah, in fact, it seems you know quite a lot about this kind of process. For us, for a big retail client, in fact, we don't pre-require a lot of conditions because every client has their own different internal ecosystem or external ecosystems. So for us, it's more like if they are the client which is pretty big and they have a lot of customization requirements, we will send our consulting team to sit with them to understand their ecosystem. Like, oh, are you having your own retail stores? Which ERP system or a POS system you are using? And do you have e-commerce platform? Is it your own brand website or your third-party e-commerce marketplace? Do you have your social media, namely WeChat official account, or do you have the mini program? So all the channels we need to clearly identify and to understand their strategy. Do they really want the true omnichannel, or they think that's like our top clients here in China is Sephora, who in fact their JD.com, yes, we connect for them, but then the JD.com or Tmall, the sales for them is more like, okay, I'm just using them as a advertising slot. All the online sales are coming through my own brand website, brand e-commerce website. So the different clients, they have their own different positioning for their retail stores, their e-commerce platforms. So here is like what we need to really sit together with them to audit, to understand their own different ecosystems and positions, so that we are able to help them to do the interface. And at the end, the ideal situation is that we build a central data platform, a central consumer data platform, what in fact interacts with all the different channels and in real time.
Okay.
So all yes.
So you have a central data platform to collect information, and then you have a platform which is making it possible to interact with the people and the different media. I have a question. Is it possible to be independent currently in this world? Tmall, for instance, will not accept that you put some code or anything to take out of the platform, as far as I understand. I think Tencent would have similar regulations. So the data you can extract from the Tmall will mostly be about the existing clients, about the information on what they did in the shop, and also the history with the company. But you may not be able actually to extract data on people who are not bought, would be people, more data that if you were your own website. Could you tell us more about how you work with those platforms, which are a bit close, like Tmall, Tencent, I mean, Alibaba, Tencent, and so on, and still keep independent?
Yes, indeed. In fact, for, Tencent and Alibaba, they have different positioning. Tencent is more open, while Alibaba is a bit more closed. So we have two ways to work with Alibaba Tmall. One is that the brands we work with them are super brands, so they have a deal with Alibaba to use a kind of like their own to have interface with the Alibaba own CRM platform, so we can connect very easily. Or we have another way is that as Edenred, we have our own certificates, ISV certificates, so that we can access to their data. But you are right that all the data we access, in fact, are all have to be like the data, the consumers who has already agreed to join or give my information to this brand on Tmall. We don't we don't collect any data which is like, say, like, oh, okay, random prospects, or we just or he's just clicking the information of this brand. No, this is of course you can imagine this is what Alibaba has valued so much. So no matter what kind of program they run, they are not going to give away this kind of data.
I see. You talked about omnichannel. Could you describe the different channels which are included in omnichannel? So we think, of course, about offline and online as a first division. Is it what it means, omnichannel, or it means more than this?
Omnichannel, of course, like online, offline is the biggest one. But why we are now emphasizing omnichannel, it's more like echoing what Jack Ma was talking about, like new retail. Because new retail is not, of course, like it sounds stupid to say new retail vs old retail, but then what new retail is really like how we are able to operate offline stores like online stores. And then here, data has played a critical role to enable this kind of digital operation, even in retail stores.
How do you collect data in stores? Do you have specific examples? We know some technology, for instance, like Beacon, which is making it possible to know where people are, to know the heat map and the traffic in the shopping mall, in the shop, and so on. You see now facial recognition in China. Is it really a thing which is used, or it's still at its infancy? It's more like something to show up for journalists to talk about, but actually it's not very used. Could you tell us the real status now of in-store data?
Yeah. In fact, in store, we are still leveraging the. It sounds like old-fashioned, but it's like exactly we leverage the existing resources, or what is unique to in-store experience. So we leverage the sales associate in the store, or the sales promoter in the store, to approach the consumers by using the sales promoters their own mobile phone to do the recruitment. Say like I have my own digital QR code as my name card. So if a consumer scan my QR code, then you register immediately, and then in the back office, the data side, then it recognizes like, hey, it's me, Enjoyce, who recruited a new customer named Matthieu today. Yeah, yeah.
I see. So it's mainly still interacting with the salesperson or the associate in the shop, who is going to interact with the customer through the phone. So you make sure there is a point of centralization of the data. And that's raising another question, is that we actually have been asked by some clients. I'm not going to give the name now, but some clients were asking us, how do you deal with WeChat? All salespeople in the shop, they're using their own WeChat. They're adding the clients of the company on their own WeChat. If they go to the competitor, if they go somewhere else, they will kill them and push for the product, and they become a small KOL, a small key opinion leader. They can influence people by the way they work, and in some way, the salesperson is becoming important again. It's not like linked only to a brand. It's building his own community, his own relationship. How do you answer this question? Because I'm sure that some clients have come to you with this question.
Exactly. In fact, I think the way we deal with that is that we are not like, I'm preventing you to use the WeChat. It's more like how I leverage your practice and to make sure that all the interactions with the consumers belong to the company, to the brand, not to the salesperson. So what we do is that, in fact, we have developed a product which is called Smart InChain, which is targeting the retail sales staff. Either it's in a app format or on the WeChat work or mini program. So all the sales promoters, their communication with their customers happen through this application.
How does it work exactly? Because people are so used to WeChat. If someone is asking me my contact, I don't even give my name card anymore because I'm in China and I'm so used to WeChat. So I'm scanning them. I believe that the salespeople will have the same action when thinking about sharing contact. So do you force them to go to Smart InChain, or Smart InChain is integrating WeChat? Well, how does it work?
So let's say like Smart InChain is like if it is on a WeChat mini program, the application is on WeChat mini program. I open a Smart InChain. I'm the salesperson. I open a Smart InChain. Then, in fact, my personal QR code is there. So if you are my customer, if you are my new customer, I ask, are you the member of our brand? If not, maybe you can join today and you can have blah blah discounts or benefits today right away. So it will be simple for you to just scan my QR code and become the member very easily by just binding something. It's very quickly, or just like a cell phone number. And then next time you come into the store, you say like, oh, I'm already your member. So I will ask like, oh, is it possible for you to give me your cell phone number so that I can check what kind of offers are available for you today? And so it's most likely you will be happy to give me your cell phone number, right? So I check from my mini program to see like, oh, this is Matthew who was here like 1 month ago. He bought some like eye cream, which will be replenished like in 2 weeks. So today my job is really to recommend replenish of the eye cream. I'm taking the like skincare as an example. Mm-hmm. And also if their Smart InChain connected with our powerful data model, then recommendation engine, then it will also recommend like, oh, probably Matthew, given his profile as like a French in Shanghai who's also interested in fragrance. So my recommendation list number 2 is fragrance.
I see. As far as I understand, Smart InChain is a system which is going to be deployed on the different social media or apps which are used. Could be WeChat, could be another one, to collect information in order to avoid for the salesperson to use its own identity. Does it mean that then when a salesperson is adding through Smart InChain, it's not adding the personal identity of the WeChat, or it's adding both? It's adding the personal identity and the client can see the moments and the WeChat of the salesperson, or it's closed within a Smart InChain? I'm not very clear on this.
It's closed within Smart InChain.
Okay. So how do you interact then with the client? It's going to pop up some messages from the mini program, from the channels, the Fu or the channel on WeChat, or or how does it work?
Yeah, so if you are my member, right? So you would like to ask some question. Actually, we are not connected personally. So you can ask questions direct on the brand's WeChat official account. And then it will automatically direct to me as the person who recruited you, who are servicing you. And then product from the Smart InChain application, I will be able to answer you back. And what you see is on the official WeChat account, and then we can do the dialogue.
I see. So you keep the relationship personal because it's redirecting to the person who added you initially. And the person who added you initially, she's in the store and she has her phone or his phone, and a message is going to pop up to say, oh, this client is talking to you, and then you can answer. So if I see some salespeople in shops of your clients who using their phone, they're not playing games, right? They may answer some messages to some clients.
Yeah, exactly.
And they use their own phone.
Yeah, exactly. And also for a lot of like skincare brands, they have a reservation or invitation, and it can also be done through this way. So as a customer, you make a reservation on the WeChat official account, then I receive the reservation, and it's on my calendar. I know that on May 23rd, 10 a.m., my client Matthieu is coming for a 30 minutes consultation or like hand care, massage, this kind of stuff. So it's also all the tasks to service my customers are on my Smart InChain application. And also probably today I also have like 10 calls to do to greet my customers who are having their birthday, or remind them of like, oh, your points will be expired, so come to collect your gift or something like that.
Okay, very interesting, because I always saw that in the shop sometimes the efficiency is very low. You see people waiting and so on, where actually the clients is active but outside of the shop. So it's a way to interacting and call them when they have time. You mentioned about the personal relationship and that the person who added the client is going to answer, but does it mean that you don't use chatbots? Does it mean that you don't integrate chatbots? So chatbots which can be based on simple answers like Q&A, so simple chatbot, or more sophisticated chatbot with a bit more like AI and sophistication?
Yeah, a very good question, because in fact, it's not like, so if think about the scenario that you as a customer is initiating the question. So the first level is that this question will be redirected to the, if you are already a member, will be redirected to me who recruited you, who are servicing you. And then if I don't answer, then within within maybe like a half an hour or 1 hour or 2 hours, I can't remember, there is a time frame, then it will be answered by the chat box, automation, blah, blah, this kind of techniques behind. Because really, we wanted the consumer to, especially the member, to feel that I am personally serviced by somebody.
I see.
And most of the the salespeople also to take the opportunity as kind of like a service, high quality service, and also upsell opportunity.
Interesting, because most of the time is the reverse. You begin with a chatbot, and when it's too complicated and chatbot cannot answer, you are directed to a personal relationship. Here it's different. You are first in contact with someone with your initial contact. If he's busy, if he's on holidays, then you are directed to a chatbot. What's your opinion on chatbots? Are they really smart now? Are we at a stage where chatbot can be smart?
To be honest, I think the chatbots, the technologies are moving very fast. So maybe somewhere, some companies are already using very, very smart chatbots. But at the end, what I still believe as a loyalty expert is that really people need people service. And then if you are already our brand member, you deserve a personal service. So that's our belief that if you are recognized as a member, we wanted to service you as a member, because really, to be honest, my personal experience, even I am like gold card of China Eastern Airlines. Each time when I make the call to redirect through all the automatic, you press 1, press 2, blah, blah, all these kind of, it's making me like crazy. It's like, I don't like this. So I believe that for the high touch service industries, we still need this kind of real personalized experience, because I am the one who recruited you, I'm the one who is servicing you, I know you, and then my answer will be most suitable for you.
I see. I saw some chatbots, vocal chatbots used by Ping An Bank, calling you for actually commercial reasons, and the voice is extremely looks extremely genuine, extremely real, and the answers are quite accurate when you talk to them. So, what's your opinion on those kind of AI formulation of interaction with a client? Is it something you integrate to actually reach out clients? I understand that to answer questions, you don't advise chatbots, or at least second solution. But in terms of reconnecting with clients, are those chatbots from Ping An a good idea, do you think?
I think it's a pretty good idea, because in fact, when you are in fact, when you are doing this kind of sales, especially for telesales, it can be all designed, and then even you have a human there to do the call, to make the call. They are following the scripts exactly what the robots is following. So I believe this is very efficient. And think about that, even a human is going to, even they are following the script, sometimes they make mistakes. So if I use a robot who is exactly following the scripts, because when you are doing the outbound sales, sometimes it's really like only following the scripts. When somebody is asking this, and what is your answer? When he asking B, what is your answer? When he asks C, what is your answer? Or when he's asking something which you don't know, then what is the answer? So in fact, it's not that difficult to build into the model. So I believe this is the right way to do, and it will really be very efficient, saving a lot of manpower for the telesales.
You mentioned many examples in the B2C. Do you have some examples in B2B businesses?
Yeah, in fact, I think for CIM nowadays, it's not only B2C, but also good to see that we have a lot of brands which business model is B2B2C, like say tires.
Yeah.
They don't sell directly to consumers. They rely on their distributors, their dealers, retail shops to sell to the consumers, right? So how they are able to really enable their dealer staff at the shop to talk with the consumers, and then also to empower them, to enable them to do targeted campaigns, to call back or to activate their customer database. And this is what all these B2B2C brands are working on. So we are providing this kind of not only the backend CRM system, but also like the dealer shop tools for the dealers to be able to really to have their own small database, and to leverage what's the big data Michelin has collected to provide the insight to the dealer, like say, why my business is good or bad. Is it because of my new customers or old customers? Like and what are the business what are the share of business for the different services, and what is my benchmark with my my neighbors? And then if my business of the new of the old customers are not so good, what do I do? So there is like there is like a recommended intelligent campaigns for them to improve their KPIs. But the campaign design, in fact, is what we help the Michelin to design for because of their big database. So the campaign can be as simple as like, okay, I wanted to launch a campaign to recall my sleeping customers. So sleeping customers means that who has been here 1 year ago, but not recently, and their average basket is like 1,000. So we just did this campaign and enable the dealer to just like click on their own cell phone and say, I want this campaign to wake up my customers. So they, for one dealer shop, they send out like 200 SMS and they get like one customer back with like 800 RMB basket purchase or transaction. So it's like 200 SMS it's only like 20 quite something. So it's for them, it's like, wow, this is like what CRM or the data has been able to make sure their operation can be more digital and intelligent.
You just mentioned SMS. It's interesting because we don't even think anymore sometimes about sending SMS. Could you tell us the different touch points you are integrating in your CRM? For instance, are you integrating mails, like postal mails, to say, hey, now it's time to send an email, a card to someone, a physical card. You have SMS, you have pushing on WeChat, you are pushing emails. And emails, actually, I don't know if what you're thinking about emails in China. Could you tell us the different touch points you can have?
Yeah, in fact, all the touch points we are able to integrate. It's more like the unique positioning of this brand, how they interact with their consumers. To give you example of SMS, why we are using SMS for Michelin, because we are servicing Michelin Tile Plus. So Michelin Tile Plus is, you know, Tile Plus, right? So it's like not only tire, but also like fast fitting, maintenance, this kind of service. So once a car is in the shop, like I'm doing the fast fitting, I won't wait until everything is done, because the shop usually, I don't feel comfortable sitting there. I think I'd better get a coffee next door. So I leave my cell phone there, and when it's done, please call me. So very easily, for a customer registration or customer information collection, cell phone is very simple, very easy to get. And so the cell phone has become the unique ID of Michelin customers, linked with their car plate.
But better than WeChat, because WeChat can be on mute, right?
Yes, WeChat. So here WeChat is a complementary channel, because think about like as a car owner, usually you don't go to Michelin WeChat to see like, oh, what is the tire? What is it's like the content itself is not so interesting. The involvement is pretty low, right? Yes, of course, Michelin wanted to have their WeChat, but then the content itself is not so exciting. So the cell phone has become the primary contact information. And then for EDM, to give you an example, everybody is saying like, oh, EDM is like who has a email address, who is using EDM? Yes, we have like our top client Sephora. Nowadays, they are using a lot of EDM. Why is that? Because EDM is the way to carry a lot of information about the beauty product, about the beauty information.
The EDM is electronic direct mailing, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
so,
okay, understood. As far I've been in China for 9 years, and emails have always been a mystery. People were not receiving emails. It was going in separate boxes, because the promotion goes in separate boxes of the 163 points.com. It's very, very difficult to reach out through a simple newsletter or simple system of email. And moreover, it seems that the open rate of emails is lower. I'm not sure you can correct me, but it seems lower than in the West, and it doesn't seem to get better. What's your feedback on this?
I think it's still depending on the different brands, because really EDM in Sephora, it works well, and I think no matter it's EDM, SMS, or WeChat message, it's all about content relevancy.
Okay.
So to give you an example, for Sephora, for the EDM we send, all the EDM, in fact, is personalized, powered by our recommendation engine. It's like saying like, hey, Mr. Matthew, it's like it was Mother's Day, so let's take Mother's Day as example. It's Mother's Day, we have this and that theme for your mother, for your wife, blah blah, these kind of things. And then there is one line of personal product recommendation, which is unique to you, not to anybody else, because we know you and we have all your data, and we also look like your data to see what are generally interested to this kind of segment. So it's more about the content relevancy. So we have tested that with this personal recommendation message. In fact, the open rate has been improved a lot, but of course, like together with the open rate is the conversion rate. So it's no matter what the channel is, I think it's more like about the relevancy. If it's not relevant, even it's like WeChat, you don't really care about WeChat, right?
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much for your time. It's nearly 1 hour, and it was very, very, very interesting. Do you have anything else you like to add up on what we said?
Yeah, I think what we have already talked about is more like on the big brands, the leading brands. What are what their practice on CIM, how they are trying to really to become more and more competitive by unlocking all the data they have collected. But then another point is that in China, we see a lot of small and medium enterprises who has the need also to be able to benefit from the data operation or digital operation. So that's why I talked in the beginning that from last year on, we focus on streamline all our product, our offerings to become really light, so that a small restaurant even is able to benefit from a good CRM solution.
But
and I believe.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic. I think we have still like 4 or 5 minutes. So how simple can you make it? Actually, that's one of my questions. I didn't want to talk about other solutions from the West, like HubSpot, like MailChimp, like ActiveCampaign. Those solutions, it's very easy. You open an account, you plug with your website, or you plug with your ID from Facebook, whatever, and it's on. Very simple. When it's tailor-made, it's much more sophisticated, much more adapted, but it's a bit more complicated. So in terms of serving SME, you have to make it more standard and more simple. How simple is it to activate the solution?
Yeah, so thanks to WeChat mini program, we made everything in WeChat mini program. So to give you example, a restaurant, so a restaurant, if he has only one store, it's okay. 2 stores, 3 stores, okay. So let's imagine just a restaurant with 1 store. The store owner has his access to see all the data collected, and then okay, so maybe it's let's see what kind of data. Let's start from the consumer side. So the consumer, when they get into the store, they can scan the QR code of the mini program and become a member, and they do the ordering their food and do the checkout payment, and then they leave their message. They agree to become a member of the restaurant. And then for the store side, the store owner, they are going to see like, oh, it's like who is coming to my store, who ordered what, and who is paying how much. Okay, if I wanted to do a campaign, I just click like, okay, I wanted to improve my recruit new customers. So I click on the campaign of social viral coupon sharing. It's like a Pinduoduo coupon. So Matthew, you are my first member, and when you receive this coupon, like say you share to 5 of your friends, you will get a big discount. Okay, so you bring friends, right? And then if I'm the owner, I say like, oh, I wanted to increase the basket size. Okay, I click the basket size increase campaign. then it will send messages to all my repeated customers, like say, okay, you buy how much, you will get what free. So it's the order campaigns, as you said, it's like all automated, and all the campaign ideas are really from what we have been servicing all the big KAs in the past years. We wanted to make sure that it can be streamlined, as simple as like one-click campaign for the store owner to do it. So it's like all WeChat mini program ecosystem through the consumer side to the store owner side.
But do you integrate with existing CRM like Salesforce, or you build it from your
No,
client
no,
have to use entirely your CRM?
No, because
Okay. Hello.
entirely our solutions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. To finish the interview, to end the interview, last questions. What are the next steps in terms of CRM? We talked about facial recognition. You mentioned that actually it's not used yet in a massive scale. But what's next? What do you have in mind for the for let's say 2020? Not too far away, because if it's too far away, we can think about everything like facial recognition, everything. But if it's like next year, what do you think will change in CRM?
For the next year, I think, yes, there are new technologies coming up. No matter what kind of technologies are coming up, it's making CRM more accessible to, for big companies, it's accessible to like frontline staff. For small companies, it's making it accessible for the SME to have their own CRM, because before SME, like say, if I talk about restaurants, they have to rely on Dianping.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, and they pay pretty handsome to get that kind of traffic. But then that traffic, in fact, don't belong to them. If they wanted to convert traffic to their own assets, they need their own CRM tool. So that's why I say like more like the CRM and the data digital operation has become really accessible to SMEs and also to the sales staff for the big companies.
Okay, a democratization of CRM and more adapted CRM, proprietary CRM next year, more than actually you see that more as a trend, more than a technological breakthrough, which could take more time actually to be mainstream. Okay, thank you very much, Enjoyce. It was very interesting, very insightful, with precise examples. So thank you very much for sharing. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.